there, I'm Xantia Rohaizad and it's good to see you again this Friday on 7Edition. The headlines. High Court allows Gadi Assemblyman to seek bail for alleged links to LTTE. Entrepreneur Development Ministry denies 20 million ringgit used for flying car project. And one of the bloodiest days of anti-government rallies grips Iraq. Now we begin tonight's bulletin with this story. Gadi Assemblyman G. Sammy Navin, who was charged with supporting and possessing items related to terror group LTTE, can now apply for bail. The High Court ruled today that Section 13 of the Security Offences Special Measures Act, SOSMA, is unconstitutional. Section 13 of SOSMA states that the court is absolutely prohibited from considering granting bail to a person charged with offences relating to terror. Judge Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali said the judicial powers in civil or criminal matters brought to the courts were exclusive of the courts. On November 1st, the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court ruled that there was merit in the application made by the defence under SOSMA to refer constitutional matters concerning bail to the High Court. The court allowed the applications of Sammy Navin and 11 other men to refer constitutional issues on bail to the High Court. Sammy Navin was among those charged in Kuala Lumpur and several states on October 29th and 31st with allegedly having links with the LTTE. Now, former Ampang PKR Youth Chief Dato Rosli Abdullah has been granted a stay of execution for the 6-month jail sentence imposed on him for giving false statements and submitting fake documents to the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) in 2017. Judicial Commissioner at the Kuala Lumpur High Court also allowed bail of 300,000 ringgit with 2 local sureties. Dato Rosli, who was ordered to surrender his international passport and report to the police station nearest to his home every 2 weeks beginning from today. On November 25th, the 31-year-old failed in his appeal at the Kuala Lumpur High Court to set aside the sentence of 6 months' jail and 30,000 ringgit fine decided by the Kuala Lumpur Sessions Court last year. Now, the Entrepreneur Development Ministry today denied that the 20 million ringgit allocation by the Malaysian Industry Government Group for High Technology, MIGHT, was not for the flying car project, and the ministry explained that the fund is actually for developing innovation, research and development of the new national car project with Dream Edge Sendirian Berhad, with MIGHT leading it. The ministry said in a statement that it has no allocation or authority to approve funding for investment in any drone projects. The air mobility project developed by Airline Group is a private initiative and fully funded by local companies, which does not involve any allocation from the government. As such, it was not brought to the National Development Council or the Cabinet, as it does not require government approval. It added that in view of this, there was no need to conduct a financial and intellectual property audit of Aerodyne, as it was not a government venture. The ministry also said that it is aware of the Public Accounts Committee PAC's findings and suggestions with regard to air mobility. The ministry is in the midst of preparing comprehensive feedback on the matter. Yesterday, the PAC said the Entrepreneur Development Minister, Dato Sri Muhammad Redzwan Yusof, had made a premature announcement on the project and called for the Auditor General's Department to do an audit of the 20 million ringgit investment. After being denied the responsibility of officiating the PKR Youth and Women's Congress, Deputy President Dato Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali has now been given the task of opening the party's Women's Congress on December 5th. Deputy Prime Minister and former party president Dato Sri Wan Azizah Wan Ismail will open the Youth Congress the following day.
Perasmian Kongres IMK, pihak Sekretariat bagi Kongres Wanita memaklumkan bahawa ia akan dirasmikan oleh Yang Berhormat Timbalan Presiden. Manakala untuk Kongres IMK ia akan dirasmikan seperti yang dimaklumkan oleh Sekretariat Kongres IMK oleh yang akan dirasmikan oleh Yang Berhormat Timbalan Perdana Menteri.
The controversy surrounding the opening of the Youth and Women's Congress started when Dato Sri Osman was dropped from officiating the Congress, seen as a departure from the party convention. This year's National Congress, which is taking place on PKR's 20th anniversary, will be held at the Malacca International Trade Center from December 6th to 8th. The Perak Menteri Besar today said there's no reason to panic over inaccurate information on the issue of rare earth mining being allowed in Perak. Dato Sri Ahmad Faizal Zumu stressed that in order to carry out any mining activities, the state government needs to undertake an environmental impact assessment or EIA and a social impact study in Perak. The Menteri Besar was asked to comment on Sahabat Alam Malaysia, which issued a statement questioning why rare earth mining would be allowed in the state.
Yang sedang dibuat oleh pihak MB Incorporated, MB Perak Incorporated bersama dengan sebuah syarikat daripada yang berpangkalan di China adalah untuk tujuan eksplorasi. Apa maksud eksplorasi? Kita nak tahu apa ada dalam bumi kita ni. Selepas kita tahu, kita akan kaji apakah ianya economical for us to extract. Apakah ianya akan mendatangkan benefit kepada rakyat dan juga kepada negeri. Somebody saying about nadi bumi, I don't even know apa ada dalam bumi kita. You need to explore.
He also said that the state government is always open to hear suggestions from the private sector. He was speaking to the media after launching an AgroFest event at the Perak State Agriculture Development Corporation headquarters in Ipoh today. Electoral watchdog Bersih 2.0 today said that there were 10 cases of misconduct in the Tanjung Piai by-election related to the announcement of development projects and allocations for the constituency worth about 23.9 million ringgit. In a statement, it said the government should adhere to the principles of free and fair elections by withholding the announcement of any new project or allocation during the by-election period. Bersih said that there has to be a clear separation between what constitutes government function and party activities. While it is not considered an offence under the Election Offences Act, it said that using taxpayers' money to give an advantage is unethical. Bersih had observed 21 cases of election offences since the Tanjung Piai seat became vacant in September, 3 cases of treating and gifting, including the organisation of dinners and events, and 18 cases of breaching the limit of the campaign period, which ended at midnight on polling day. On police regulation requiring permits for door-to-door campaigns, Bersih said it is not up to the police to set rules during elections. Bersih said it is of the view that during the election, the spirit of the federal constitution regarding freedom of speech, expression, assembly and association should be observed and respected to a higher degree. AirAsia Berhad has clinched the world's leading low-cost airline award for the 7th consecutive year by the World Trade Award WTA. AirAsia Group Chief Executive Officer Tan Sri Tony Fernandes said AirAsia secured the top spot in the category after receiving the most number of votes from travelers and industry professionals, well ahead of its competitors. The Malaysia-based low-cost carrier emerged as the winner ahead of other global airlines including AirAsia, EasyJet, FastJet, Fly Dubai, JetBlue, Jetstar Airways and West Air. AirAsia also took home the accolade for the leading low-cost airlines' cabin crew for the 3rd year running. The 26th annual WTA is globally recognized as one of the most prestigious, comprehensive and coveted honors in the global tourism industry. We're taking a short break, but when we return, militia attack in Congo brings death toll to 27. Details next. We're back with foreign news. It's almost been a year since a K-pop scandal broke out in South Korea, and on Friday, two artists, Jung Jun-young and Choi Jung-hoon, were among 5 who were convicted of gang rape, as well as secretly filming and distributing illicit sex videos of their partners. A court in Seoul sentenced Jung 6 years in prison, while Choi was given a 5-year term, punishments which received flack online for being too lenient for the crimes they committed. Choi, a former member of boy band FT Island, and Jung, both 30 years old, were found guilty of gang raping 2 different victims on 2 occasions in 2016. The duo will also have to go for 80 hours of sexual violence rehabilitation program, as well as face a 5-year ban of employment in any organization related to children and teenagers. Separately, Jung was also convicted of filming himself having sex with other women without their knowledge and sharing the footage 11 times without their consent. Jung distributed his videos in mobile chat rooms with recipients that included fellow K-pop star Seungri of Big Bang, who has been accused of illegal gambling in connection with a sex and drugs scandal. Police reportedly found Jung's videos while investigating that case. Netizens said while they welcome the news of the punishment, they feel that the jail terms are nowhere close to the pain and suffering that the victims are forced to bear for the rest of their lives. Iraq's top Shiite cleric on Friday urged parliament to replace the cabinet after dozens of protesters were killed in one of the bloodiest days of anti-government rallies gripping the country. Grand Ayatollah Ali Sistani's weekly sermon gave a major boost to Iraqi demonstrators who have been taking to the streets since early October against a ruling class deemed corrupt and inefficient. Nearly 40 demonstrators were killed Thursday following the torching of an Iranian consulate. The violence brought the total death toll since early October to more than 390, with more than 15,000 wounded. The highest toll was in the flashpoint southern city of Nasiriyah, where 25 people were killed when security forces used excessive force to break up rallies. In response, Prime Minister Adel Abdel Mahdi ordered military chiefs to deploy in several restive provinces to impose security and restore order. But by the afternoon following the crackdown, the premier had already sacked 1 commander. The grassroots movement is the largest in Iraq has seen in decades, but also the deadliest. A notorious militia killed a total of 27 people in a massacre in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo on Wednesday, raising the number of people killed in and around the city of Beni since November 5th to 107. It was reported that the victims were hacked to death with machetes. The vast majority of the killings have been carried out by the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, a militia that has plagued Eastern Congo since the 1990s. The massacres have sparked protests against the United Nations peacekeeping mission by the locals who set fire to the camp Thursday. Residents protested the UN mission's failure to protect them as well as to prevent these massacres. The envoys of Britain, Canada, Switzerland, and the United States wrote a joint letter condemning the attacks against the UN and expressed full backing for the UN Secretary General's special representative in these difficult times. Meanwhile, all 6 Malaysian United Nations peacekeepers in several locations in Congo are safe and unaffected by the latest unrest in the country. They are part of the United Nations Organization Stabilization Mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo, MONUSCO. A source in the Malaysian Armed Forces said the nearest Malaysian peacekeeper is 200 kilometers from Beni, where some 100 civilians were reportedly killed following clashes between the rebel group ADF and the country's army since the end of October. Malaysia is among the 49 countries participating in MONUSCO, one of the biggest peacekeeping operations under the UN, with more than 21,000 military, police, and civilians involved. Retailers braced for yet another shopping extravaganza on Friday. Black Friday, which occurs on the Friday after Thanksgiving Day, is widely considered to be the United States' biggest shopping day of the year, with big slashes in prices of items. However, the Black Friday sales have traveled all over the world, as well as the scenes of chaos as deal hunters battled for bargains. Take a look. Hong Kong's economy tumbled 2.9% in the third quarter, making its first year-on-year decline since the 2009 recession. Statistics by the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region showed negative impacts due to months-long protests that have taken its toll on the country's economy. Local officials have also revised the gross domestic product growth for the year and reduced it to 1.3%. Financial services provider IHS Markit said earlier this month that business activities in Hong Kong's private sector fell to the weakest in 21 years, with the Purchasing Managers Index PMI declining from 41.5 in September to 39.3 in October. IHS Markit added that Hong Kong is not just a financial hub, but also a major tourist destination. From July to September, the number of tourist arrivals dropped by 26%. Meanwhile, Hong Kong Census and Statistics Department said that the unemployment rate for those working in food and beverage service activities climbed to 6.1%, the highest in more than 6 years. KPJ Healthcare Berhad reported an increase for its third quarter profits by 10.5% to 906 million ringgit compared to the previous year. Its earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization, or EBITDA, also improved by 32% year-on-year to almost 464 million ringgit. The healthcare company attributes its growth to an emphasis on the overall patient experience. In a press statement, it's saying there are more potential upsides and the company is on track to achieve its target of profit after tax of 191 million ringgit for this year. KPJ runs private hospitals in the country and its latest addition is KPJ Batu Pahat. Coming up next, car troubles land a group of girls into a terrifying scam. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Bursa Malaysia closed sharply lower today amidst heavy selling activities, particularly in telecommunication, utilities and technology stocks. The FBM KLCI dipped 22.03 points to finish at 1,561.74 from 1,583.77. Analysts added that month-end portfolio rebalancing by foreign funds would drive significant selling activities in the market. On to stocks to watch. Axiata Group Berhad's third quarter financial year 2019 EBITDA grew by 11.8% year-on-year to 2.4 billion ringgit. This is supported by top-line growth and ongoing cost excellence program. However, the first 9 months of 2019's normalized earnings came in lower at 733 million ringgit. Last but not least, DRB Highcom's first 6 months financial year 2019 core PATAMI of 119 million ringgit came in within expectations at 70%. No interim dividend was declared in this quarter as expected. Meanwhile, Proton is in the midst of finalizing a 10-year business roadmap targeting 30% share of the domestic market and 10% of regional market via introduction of new models. Now let's hop on to Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. With a growing number of scammers in the country, there is also an increasing number of scamming methods. A Twitter user recently posted about her terrifying encounter when a 46-year-old man held her and a group of friends hostage at the Nilai Utara R&R, forcing them to pay an unreasonable sum of money for apparently helping to fix their car. The video has raked in around 300,000 views in just a day. Take a look. The incident took place yesterday when the girls experienced something oddly unusual with their car while driving on a highway. Wanting to check if everything was okay, they pulled over at an R&R, and as soon as one of them lifted up the front hood, a middle-aged man approached them to ask if everything was okay. The girls earnestly answered him, and without even asking for their permission, the man offered himself to check the engine. After adding some water into the radiator, the man asked for a 150 ringgit payment, discounted from his actual 250 ringgit charge. The girls, of course, had no clue what he was talking about. The unreasonable price caught the girls off guard, and after explaining to him that they are just students, the man showed no mercy and threatened to not let them go until he receives the payment. What made the situation even more frightening was when the man brought his gang over and they all rode around the car on motorcycles, making it difficult for the girls to escape. Thankfully, one of the girls silently called the police from the back seat. When the police finally showed up, the gang dispersed, leaving the man at the scene. He was taken by the police, saving the girls from a terrifying situation. Looking at this incident, it seems like not all help can be trusted after all, and that we have to be extremely cautious of our surroundings. Now updated as of 7 p.m., here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today.